Hello and welcome to morning prayer. I'd like to begin this morning with reading this piece of poetry by Mary Oliver entitled The Sun. On this most glorious day in Prince Edward County, it is a perfect poem. Have you ever seen anything in your life more wonderful than the way the sun every morning, relaxed and easy, floats toward the horizon and into the clouds or the hills or the rumpled sea and is gone? And how it slides again out of the blackness every morning on the other side of the world like a red flower, streaming upward on its heavenly oils, say on a sunny morning in early summer, at its perfect imperial distance. And have you ever felt for anything such wild love? Do you think there is anywhere in any language a word billowing enough for the pleasure that fills you as the sun reaches out, as it warms you, as you stand there empty-handed? Or have you too turned from this world? Or have you too gone crazy for power, for things? Amen to that. So, there are a number of ways that we can define the season in which we are in right now, this pandemic season. And I actually appreciate the Christian season that seems to be laid on top of this pandemic season at the present time. It is the season of Eastertide. It is a season when we get to think deeply about that word resurrection. Thomas Aquinas suggests that resurrection involves putting on a different set of glasses. He suggests that when we rise and are able to see the oneness of the entire creation, we have been resurrected. So I consider the Wisdom of the Universe mural that I get to enjoy every day, and it is a mural that reflects the interconnectedness of every creature, plant, being on the planet. That's a very different vision than a vision of separation, a vision of tribalism, a vision of hatred, a vision of them and us. And that vision, I might add, also includes the way that we have identified the planet as other. We have not considered, as Richard Wagamese suggests, every living thing to be our relative. So that vision, I think, requires imagination on our part. So resurrection requires imagination. And then I think there's another word we have to add to this conversation, and that is power. So it's one thing to imagine a new heaven and a new earth, and I think that many of us on the planet right now are thinking, yes, it's time. But the bigger question is how, and the larger question as well involves power. And I think that we have probably always had an ambiguous relationship with power. And so rather than empowering ourselves with what we have imagined, we have maybe left it for someone else to do. So I'm going to suggest, or I'm going to provide a weekend assignment, unless, of course, like your agendas are all filled this weekend. And that is, number one, let's put on a new set of glasses and imagine how this world could be different on the other side of this pandemic. And I'm not talking Pollyanna. I'm talking like this would require a ton of work. But it begins with the work of imagination. And I'm going to invite you to consider 3 things that if you had anything to say about it, and you do, you would change based on this vision of resurrection, that we are all one, we are all in this together, including the planet that is our home. And on Monday morning, I will share my 3, what I'm beginning to call non-negotiables. We've got to get these 3 things right. Let's close with these words by Philip Newell. To the home of peace, to the field of love, to the land where forgiveness and right relationship meet, we look, gracious Spirit. With longing for earth's children, with compassion for the creatures, with hearts breaking for the nations and people we love. Open us to visions we have never known. Strengthen us for self-givings we have never made. Delight us with a oneness we could never imagine, that we may be born of you, lovers of the earth, makers of peace. Friends, to all, may you be blessed with a wondrous imagination as you move through this day. And also, may you be inspired by the glory of the world that has met you again this day, that included a morning hug from the sun. Stay well, good friends, stay well.